I'm going to open up your reading, Libra. This is going to be for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. I put it in the pinned comment. Many of you are going to be intuitively guided. You may not know if you even have Libra in your chart. Don't even worry about it. I feel like that's just your guides nudging you to a reading. That means there's some signs here for you. Some of you may be checking up on a Libra. By the way, this is the July reading, July 2024. We're going to use 3 different decks. I also want to tell you, I'm not ignoring you in the comment section, but I want to do your reading and really concentrate on that first, and then I will go into the comment section. So I do want to thank everyone for being here. I do have chat replay on. So you can always go back, but I'll probably re-download it as just a video also. So anyways, I'm going to get started. We're going to use 3 different decks. We're going to use Mother Mary for her beautiful words of wisdom. We are going to use the Gilded Tarot to go deep. Let's go deep, Libra. And those intuitively guided. And the Psychic Tarot really just kind of jumped out at me. I was going to use a Universal Tarot, but this really jumped out at me, and we are entering into a period of time where I feel, especially for Virgo, which I am, our intuition is just going to be on fire. But you are right next to Virgo, so I have a feeling your intuition is going to be on fire also. In this type of reading, I would also ask your spirit guides to give you confirmation. Like if you're unsure if a sign is for you, ask your guides to send you, like, to have me say a word, or a number, whatever it is. I say random things all the time, and I have learned usually it is because that is someone's word. That is what someone has asked their guides to have me say. To others, it may sound crazy, but what else was I was going to say? I was just going to say something else. Oh, so I do read through my spirit guides of the light, of course, and I do feel like my guides connect to your guides. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. Look at that. They all came out in a block. All right. Well, we start with the Strength card. Power in this deck. Card of Leo. I'm going to bring the lid down a little bit. It's also number 8. New beginning. It's about courage. And it's about realizing, I feel like, I'm just picking this up right now, like, looking back at your life and really understanding how much you have grown from your experiences. So I'm not living a life of regret. I'm proud of myself. I've gotten through. We have the waiting game. We have the 3 of Pentacles, recognition and reward. We'll take it. Maybe some of you have been waiting for this recognition. Interesting, because we have an 8, which also signifies a new beginning. And then the 2 and the 3, which is a 5, which signifies change. So there may be some type of change coming. Some of you have been waiting for this recognition, and maybe you've been waiting for the reward. And I feel like the reward may be, well, I feel like it can be many different things, to be honest with you. But this is where other people are really recognizing your worth. First, I feel like in the Strength card, I had to recognize my own worth. And I feel like that's what you've done. And now it feels like, whatever you've been waiting for, I feel like it's coming around. Unless you're waiting for something or someone who is like tending to keep you on the hook. I don't know if I want you waiting for that. Of course, that's your decision. But I say that out of love. Like I don't want you to wait for I don't know. I just feel like if it is love, then they should let you know, right? They should let you know. And the way I read love is I really am looking for like soulmate energy. And very seldom will a soulmate make you wait. Now, we are humans, right? We're spiritual beings having human experiences. So, you know, maybe someone's worth the wait. All right, we have, or maybe not. We have your major arcana, which I love. And by the way, it's mirroring power, courage. To me, that means that I, again, have reflected upon my life. And instead of being like, ah, man, I regret doing this, you were learning. You were learning. And I feel like you need to be proud of yourself for that. I also feel like, well, it literally says balance on the card, but I feel like that's what you're finding. You're finding balance. And it may mean that you needed to cut certain energy out of your life to like rebalance your life. We have victory and success. We'll take it. This is Six of Wands, by the way. And it's interesting because you have two cards where other people are really recognizing your efforts. And that's really what it is. I may be speaking about what I have done, but it is the action steps that you've taken, and I feel like courageous, like you've been courageous in taking these steps. We have wisdom, card of Taurus. This is the Hierophant. It's interesting. It's coming under too. First of all, I could see, not to put Taurus down. I mean, I'm not putting Taurus down, but I could see like an earth sign. Let's just say that. They're not the fastest to respond, but yet at the same time, if it doesn't feel good within your soul, if it, like that energy of like anxiety, having anxiety over waiting, then don't wait, right? Because if this is about waiting for someone else, I mean, I feel like live your life, because I feel like there's so much recognition of you and how far you've come, not just on this earthly plane, but also in your spirituality. We have emotional loss. This is the Five of Cups. Two fives back to back. Again, fives speak about change. Two fives and a 6 and 11. And 11 up here. Some of you could certainly be dealing with a twin flame energy. For sure. I'm saying for sure, but it certainly doesn't have to be that way. Let's talk about the Five of Cups real quick, though. Five of Cups is when I am, I'm looking back at the cups that have been knocked over, and, it's definitely sadness. Something didn't work out, maybe the way that you'd hoped it worked out. But you guys hear me say this all the time. When this person is like, you know what, I'm not going to keep looking back. I'm not going to keep maybe waiting. What does this person find when they make that change that the five is asking for? Well, you can't see it in this card, but usually you see two cups behind this person. So, and I love it coming under recognition and reward, because I feel like the right person, if it's relating to love, the right person will recognize your worth right away. I feel like the right person would not play a waiting game with you, whether it be an earth sign or not. I also feel like some of you in your money sector feels like it's getting better and better. Some of you may just started a new business, or a new job, and you're getting that recognition that maybe you didn't get before, because you are cutting ties to something. Now, could be energetic ties. You know, this could represent divorce for sure. But it's really about, you know, what's fair and just in your world. This, I feel like justice, when it shows up in a reading, it's really about making you whole again, making you whole again. So let's keep going. I do find it interesting, though, that we do have 2 11s on the board. Okay, your cards are coming out in like blocks. All right, I'm going to slide these up. Solitude. This is a hermit. Some of you may be connected to a Virgo. Some of you may be right on the cusp of Virgo and Libra. You know, the hermit, some of you may have been through the energy of what feels like the dark night of the soul. And that may be why power, courage, the strength card is your very first card. And it's mirroring again you, your energy. Solitude. You know, maybe I needed to go into like peaceful silence and really listen to my intuition. And again, your intuition, I feel like, are your spirit guides. Some of you may be also completing a 9-year cycle. And, you know, 9s to me are about reflection, but it's final reflection. Like, I'm not meant to like reflect forever. I'm just looking back, seeing how I have grown, you know, even looking at, like, again, if someone has me on the hook, like making me wait for them for whatever reason, you know, with the hermit's energy. And because I feel like with the hermit's energy, you're really finding your spirituality. You're really trusting in the signs that you're receiving. Again, I feel like when we go into that quiet mind, your questions will be answered. You know, your guides are with you all the time. You know, I also want to remind you that your angels need your permission to come into your life to help you with the situation. So, you know, if you want to go to your angels or your archangels, just ask them to come into your life. Help me figure this out. But your spirit guides are with you all the time, and they are like trying to help guide you. The problem is sometimes we just don't listen. But sometimes we don't know that until we start to develop our spirituality at the same time. Okay. Well, hello, 9 of Cups. Fulfillment of wishes. I'll take it. I'll take it on your behalf. Let's talk about the 9 of Cups. This is about inner harmony. And it's interesting, we have 2 9s following each other. So, you know, that deep reflection feels like it really brought you to a place of inner harmony. That feels spiritual right there, just that alone. But this is also talking about fulfillment of wishes. So let's see. We have another 9, 3 9s in a row. This is the 9 of Swords. Here it's called suffering in silence. You know, I almost feel like I have an option, right? I can reflect back and again look at, let's just say, the last chapter, and I can look at it one or two ways, right? I can see how I have grown from these experiences. And again, you may have been through what we call the dark night of the soul. That just means something like, you know, took you down, something brought you down to your knees. And the 9 of Swords, the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry. Now, I hope that helps you a little bit. You know what I mean? It's mirroring the waiting game. So someone may have you, again, waiting, but what is it doing? It's causing anxiety. It's causing sleepless nights. Libra, you deserve so much more than that, so much better. But you got to know that, right? Again, if it's relating to love or even money, in your job, it's just like, if you know your worth, then the rest doesn't matter. So 3 9s in a row, a lot of reflection. I have a feeling this has already happened though. So I have a feeling maybe June had been like a month where you really were reflecting back. But listen, I feel like you're finding your spirituality like never before. The Hierophant, right above suffering and silence. It's almost like praying, right? Pray. Ask your angels to help you with whatever this 9 of Swords is for you. Again, if I'm waiting for someone or something, pray about it, or ask for clarity. Should I keep waiting? I feel like, your energy will let you know that. Again, if it's causing anxiety, I don't know. I don't think I'd wait. We have obstacles and challenges. Interesting, because we have 3 9s, 3 5s. A lot of reflection and then a lot of change. But the change is good change, because obstacles and challenges, I don't want to stay in that. But I also feel like this is representing you overcoming these obstacles, you overcoming these challenges. And one of them may be of an emotional nature. The 9 of Swords next to obstacles and challenges, or suffering and silence next to obstacles and challenges. It feels like, again, like, maybe I really want someone to come back, but I would say just ask yourself, like, picture yourself for the rest of your life with this person. What would it look like for you? If you're being truly honest with yourself. There could be someone who, like, comes in and then goes silent, comes back in and then goes silent again. That kind of leaves you on the hook. That kind of leaves you in stagnant energy. And, you're all about fairness and balance. So I do feel like, your compassionate hearts will give someone the time. But yet, I got to know when to cut the ties. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. What are we choosing? Well, it's mirroring the 9 of Cups. So a wish coming true. But then it does put it in your court, like the ball in your court. It's like your spirit guides can help you to reach certain, let's say, rewards, but then you also have to accept them. So choose wisely. It's a 7 of Cups. It can feel chaotic. Something may come in very quickly. And even though we, through the 9 of Cups energy, it is a fulfillment of a wish. But, and it could be a person, because I may be here waiting for someone, and then someone else enters and it's like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? Do I move forward with them, or do I continue to stay playing this game with someone else? Look at this. 2 cups, your soulmate. And now it is mirroring fulfillment of wishes. I mean, Libra, what you gonna do? Look at that. Some of you, there could be a Virgo who is your soulmate. But I don't want to just, I hate to just give signs because I don't want, like, let's say a Scorpio comes in and you're like, well, but it's not a Virgo, so you can't be the right person. That's why I'll give you the sign and then I kind of want you to forget about it, if that makes sense. But I love that. And this literally says spiritual union. And let's say we're talking about love right now. Like, a soulmate doesn't always have to be a romantic soulmate. Like, I feel like we're soulmates. I feel like we're a soul family. And I definitely feel we help each other. But if this is talking about love, then it's talking about the type of love that would recognize you as a soulmate. It's a higher form of love, it's a higher level of love. And of course, when we raise our own vibration, and that may be why we have all these nines, right? Reflecting back, I'm not going to regret the past because why? Because I've learned from it. Sometimes what I'm learning is what I don't want, right? If someone put you like in this waiting game energy, I feel like once you break yourself free from that, you won't go back to that type of energy. Like, if, let's say, I don't feel like, first of all, the soulmate energy that's here. Let me bring the lid down a little bit more so you can see all the cards. Um, you know, I feel like you're choosing, Libra. You're making a decision to either stay connected to someone who I feel is potentially playing games. And I'm not really, I don't want to put them down because, we all have our own choices. We all have our own right to live life the way we want, but then we also have the right not to accept certain energy. So I have a feeling that if, like, you've been waiting for someone, and then down here we have the soulmates entering, and it is a fulfillment of a wish, that this is just the way I feel like life works sometimes. It's like, oh my God, look at this. And then boom, this person pops back up again. Well, now what am I going to do? That's why I feel like you need to go into a quiet mind. I feel like your guides will help you here. I definitely feel like you're guided to this soulmate. Um, yeah, I definitely feel you're guided. You will be guided to this soulmate. The only thing that, I don't know if worry is the right word, but first we have the Nine of Cups, inner harmony, fulfillment of wishes, and then it moves into the Nine of Swords. So could I potentially block an opportunity? I don't think you'll block the soulmate from coming in, but you could refuse it, right? Um, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I would say, you don't necessarily have to tell yourself, okay, I'm done with this person, but I would start moving in this direction with this soulmate. And then I feel like the rest would be revealed. Like, you'll just know. You'll just know. And I wouldn't be surprised, again, if that is right when someone makes a repeat appearance. But I feel like you will feel the difference between this potential love and this, because again, it's connected to the Nine of Swords. All right, let's look at the bottom of the deck. Patience and planning. This is the Seven of Pentacles. And I feel like a Seven of Pentacles is an energy that's just really meant to be. I feel like it is our soul seeds of intention. Different seeds come to fruition at different times, right when they're meant to. I have a feeling you're going to get the Knight of Pentacles, which talks about right timing. I don't come before the right time, and I don't come after. I come in the right time. So, and I also feel for some of you, let's say this is also talking about like what I do for a living, and maybe you're not satisfied. but I can't just quit my job, right? Maybe financially, I just can't get up and leave, but I can start putting a plan in place. I can. 7 is also a very spiritual number. So keep that in mind. Look at this. Ace of Wands underneath that. It's like your chakras being activated, and you may not even know why. I feel like I know why. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot and let's get right into it. Let's go deeper. I'm going to give it a couple shuffles. I feel like, oh, look at that. There's a wrong card. Oh my, look at this. And I shuffle my cards for about 15 minutes before every reading. And I just meditate on you, on your sign, on the energy, on what my guides want me to, speak about. I use the cards as just a tool. It's really, I feel like my spirit guides, my intuition. But look at this. Different deck somehow is in this deck. And I don't know how I missed it, but it's the Three of Swords. So I feel like this is a message on its own. And I feel like it's relating back to the Nine of Swords and the waiting game. It's almost like saying, if I think things will be different, I may want to think again. If you look at this image, for those who are like watching the monitor, I know some of you just listen, but this person is literally looking up at the Three Swords, almost like I know it. Maybe I know it on a soul level. Some of you are going through some heartache right now, and I'm sorry about that, but I do feel like you have the potential to move beyond this. In the Three of Swords, there is one extra sword, right? There's 3 swords piercing the heart. But the other sword, I feel like, is us. It's our own knowledge. It's our own actions, right? It's knowing our own truth. I feel like this alone was a little message. All right, I'm going to put it back on that deck, though. Did I cut them? I don't think I did. Let's give them a cut. Introduce them into your reading. Again, I'm not ignoring your comments, guys. I want to keep my focus on your reading first. And by the way, tomorrow, I got thunder. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Fingers crossed we stay online. Okay, I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep going. So just in case. With the Page of Cups. That tells me that you took that Three of Swords right in your inner child. Page of Cups is really about learning to love yourself again, appreciate yourself again. If someone else isn't appreciating you, oh well. I appreciate myself now. I also feel Page is about what's in the atmosphere. And it's a cup or cups, something of an emotional nature. And I also feel this is very playful type energy, which I feel is very good if I've been in that Nine of Swords energy. Anxiety, playfulness, back to yourself. It's like reclaiming yourself. All right. Well, hello, spiritual team. Judgment. Calling you to the present moment. They're telling you there's about to be a rebirth in your life. Are you going to accept it? It's coming over the waiting game. Do I think for 1 minute your guides want you to wait on someone? And listen, I'm not saying don't ever wait on anyone, but if it's causing you anxiety, You know, if it's causing the Three of Swords, I already put it away, then I feel like that's kind of your answer. So this is about a rebirth, a new beginning in something. Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords right now is mirroring obstacles and challenges. I can tell you right now that this is a repeat pattern. This could certainly be talking about a repeat pattern with someone, and that's probably why I recognize that Three Swords, like three swords piercing the heart. Could be someone who's done it over and over again. I feel like in the Ten of Swords, you know, it can talk about submission, like I've given up, right? I just keep getting dagger after dagger after dagger in my back. Your spiritual team knows that. And that's not what they want for you. You know, they know your soul's intention. They know the certain seeds that your soul planted before you even stepped foot on this earth. And their job is to help guide you towards that, towards those intentions. We want this to end. We want this to end. And it may only end through your own actions, right? The recognition of it, like, wait a minute, am I just in a repeat pattern? Am I just allowing certain people, certain energies to continue to put, you know, for some reason, why am I trusting that anything's going to be different? This tells you it won't be. Now, I know it doesn't have to mean with everyone, but this is not good energy. This is the energy that I want out of. And so does your spiritual team want you out of it. Well, hello, Ace of Pentacles. So coming right over your major arcana. And Judgment saying there's going to be a rebirth. Ace of Pentacles is the way. Ace of Pentacles means something is literally coming into your physical world. Well, right now, it just so happens to be mirroring the soulmates. But there's also a question of whether I'm going to accept that cup or not. And I feel like the only reason you wouldn't would be back here. Like maybe I feel like I've waited so long, and you know how like you do something, what am I trying to say? Like, you know, let's just say, okay, so I've waited and I waited, and it's like, well, I feel like if I stop waiting now, it was just about to happen. I don't think so. I don't think so, because I feel like your spiritual team, I don't feel like it. I know your spiritual team is saying there is something new coming into your physical world. Ace of Pentacles is really meant to enhance your life. And because the soulmates are coming over a question, you may want to ask yourself that, you know, does this feel like it will enhance my life or will it deplete my life? Now, again, it could be two people. So I do feel like one is going to enhance your life and one is going to do what they've always done, deplete your life. You know, I feel like it's reclaiming your power. And I also feel like when I say to the universe, you know what, I'm not going to continue to wait. It's like you are saying, I'm ready for a new beginning, whatever it may be. I'm going to trust you, guides. I'm going to trust in you. I like that a lot, especially mirroring the soulmate energy. You know, and I also feel like there could be potentially energy that has like kind of kept you from doing something that I feel like you'd be very good at. You know, maybe you've lost trust in yourself, but I feel like it's because of other people's words, maybe a particular person's words, but I feel like you have to look at the source. You know, are they telling me I won't be good at something because they don't want me to succeed? You know, especially if this is any type of, with a repeat pattern, it could certainly be like a narcissistic type of energy. Well, they're going to tell you that. They're going to say, you know, what you want to do, that's crazy. It won't be any good. Your spiritual team is like, oh, yeah, it will be. Who are you going to listen to? Your choice, right? That's free will. All right, let's keep going. We have the moon, card Pisces, ruler of Cancer. We're in Cancer season. You know, and if you think about Cancer season, it's really is a time of harmony, of love, you know, and again, it doesn't have to mean like romantic love, compassion, but also having compassion for yourself. This can certainly talk about uncertainties, but listen, it's coming over the energy of victory and success. So I feel like really what it's talking about is dreamy type energy. And it may have been, you know, after that full moon. It may just be the right time. I don't know about you guys, but well, I do know that Saturn's in retrograde. But I know my energy has been drained, and it's starting to come back now. But like I would do a reading and then I'd go to bed. And it's just not like me. I like never take afternoon naps, and I wasn't napping. I was like sleeping for hours. So I don't know. But, anyways, dreamy energy over victory and success. Under the Page of Cups and fulfillment of wishes right below that. Of course, it can be Pisces or Cancer. I don't think we have them on the board right now. But again, I kind of want you to forget about the sign. Whoa. All right. We have the Queen of Swords coming over wisdom, the Hierophant. Of course, can be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this is really about this queen. What she is concerned about is the truth. Someone's integrity. She lives within her own integrity. She lives within her own truth. And listen, sometimes it's taken us a while to get to this point. This is, I feel like, you reclaiming your power, reclaiming your voice. And I love that it's coming out of the Hierophant, because to me that talks about the light. And I'm loving the little white doves everywhere. Pure. And then, hello, King of Cups. Again, can be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We do have Pisces and Cancer. King Cups. This is somewhat, it's interesting because this is coming over the Five of Cups. So is this the soulmate that's coming in, or is this the one that's got me on the hook? Well, he's coming under the Ten of Swords. And underneath that is the Five of Pentacles. I'm sorry, challenges and obstacles. So I don't know. I'm not feeling so great about him right now. And I just mean that in, normally the King of Cups is someone who does enjoy being in relationships. But listen, I was married to a King of Cups, and he was anything but loyal. Quite the opposite. But I had to learn that. So this, to me, kind of feels like it is talking about love, and it can talk about maybe the person that you're missing. Because I do feel like in the Five of Cups, potentially I am missing someone. The Five of Cups wants you to be careful though, because that can move into the energy of woe is me. And not that you don't have every reason, but do you want to live in that energy? Because again, when I decide I'm no longer going to live in that energy, what shows? Well, it is literally already showing for us soulmates. So we'll come back and clarify that, King. But right now, I'm not feeling so great about him. All right. Eight of Swords. Self-created prison. And I feel like someone has helped you create that prison. I don't know that I've ever said that. What do I mean by that? I feel like if I'm waiting for someone and they're not showing up, or they come in and they leave, I know you can't live that way. But listen, we all get stuck in that type of web here and there. Eight of Swords is about, you're putting up walls. You want to protect yourself. And I get it. And so do your guides. However, when you learn that it's really my energy that is my protector, it's really my spirit guides that are my protector. And in the Eight of Swords, much like the Nine of Swords, do I hear that guidance? Maybe some, but it's hard. It's hard to hear. This is about setting yourself free. Coming over the Hermit's energy, it's like you really are. And listen, some of you, it may be like, I needed to take a break. I needed to take a time out. And I feel like during that time, that may be exactly when you really understand some of these lessons. Again, I feel like I have to remind you that you are a spiritual being. You're having human experiences. I feel like that alone gives you a sense of power. So set yourself free, whatever it may be. Ace of Pentacles is right above it. Am I going to accept that ace in the Eight of Swords? Again, maybe not. Wow, beautiful. There you are, setting yourself free. There you are. This is when you've taken, and by the way, another eight. You have 3 8s on the board. New beginnings. You may have 3 new beginnings. One new beginning may lead to another and another. But it's coming over fulfillment of wishes at the same time. And where do you go from the Eight of Cups? You go into the Nine of Cups. Inner harmony. That's exactly what you're doing. I feel like I want to say congratulations to some of you. I want to say I'm proud of you for really reclaiming your power, setting yourself free. It doesn't necessarily mean that the hurt goes away right away, but I have a feeling it very soon it will. Well, hello, Four of Swords. I should have just turned the card around. That's the healing. And by the way, it is mirroring your spiritual team. You don't think they're involved in your life? They are. But they also want you to look at yourself. Not in a judgmental way. Just really in, who you've become. I feel like for some of you, I want to say you're right where you're meant to be. And some of you, it's a lesson. It was a lesson. And I have to feel sometimes, if it's relating to love, sometimes we have to learn what we do not want. I think it was with my daughter, we were having a conversation, and I said to her that, I get people from the age of 18, up to 80, 90. And I feel blessed that I can reach like the younger generation, to help them to understand that, they don't have to accept what someone is dishing out. Like trust in yourself. And because I think back to like my younger years and I think, I mean, I have forgiven myself, but I do think of like, wow, some of the stupid choices I've made, So anyways, this is healing directly from your spiritual team. Over that Nine of Swords, healing that mind, that thought system. It's interesting too because you have the card of Virgo who can very easily overthink. And it doesn't mean you are a Virgo. It just means because when I see like different signs of energy, I'm just reading like their energy. Anyways, I love that. Healing. Well, hello, Star. Your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes. Had they been put on a back burner? It's coming over challenges and obstacles. Some of these challenges you are meant to go through. Like, again, don't regret them because they probably taught you more than anything. And again, sometimes it's just literally what I don't want. Like, I'm clear now. It makes me think back, like when I got married. I mean, I was 19 when I got married. I mean, hello. Um, would I do that again? No. No. But anyways, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. You want to manifest them. This isn't just like a dream. This is about bringing them into your reality. And I feel like with the star and judgment, they're helping you to manifest. They're helping you to bring your dreams to the front burner. Card of Aquarius also. Look at that. The Nine of Cups again. So the Nine of Cups is mirroring the Nine of Cups. Interesting because it's coming over the soulmates and also decisions. Could certainly be mirroring energy. But by the way, it's also mirroring that Ace of Pentacles. It's like we started the reading where this nine said fulfillment of wishes, not just one wish, fulfillment of wishes, right? And now we mirror that energy and we see it now actually coming in. Well, what is one of those wishes right over the soulmates? Nine of Swords again. How interesting, because you have the Nine of Cups here right next to the Nine of Swords. Nine of Cups here next to that Nine of Swords. I get it. There could be a little worry. If I feel like I haven't been that lucky in love, then I may be worried, well, am I just going to end up in the same old place again? That's why you need to go to that quiet mind. That's why you need to trust your intuition, but your spirit guides. That's why you need to know that they are always, they walk right beside you. Literally, what they're promising, a rebirth, they then show. Don't worry, be happy. I can't get that song out of my head. Don't worry, be happy. Okay, I'm not going to leave it there. So let's look at a couple things. What do I want to look at? I think I want to go between, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go right down the middle of the board because I really don't feel like there's anything I need to like really clarify. Because I am feeling like this king. I feel like, especially the way, like when I put a card down, sometimes I don't even know what my hands are doing because sometimes my eyes are closed. I mean, literally. So I'm just looking at this king who is now touching that waiting game energy. I may wish for that to happen. But sometimes, be careful what you wish for. Because, again, that may also come true. But which one do I want? All right, let's go right across the middle of the reading. Hello, lovers. Hello, lovers. Card of Gemini. This is about a head over heart decision. This is chemistry. I love the image, and I know I repeat myself a lot, but I also know new people show up and they may not have ever seen this before. Look at the feminine. She's like in the physical, right? But then there's the masculine right behind her. And it's like he's still in spirit form. Now, I don't mean he's not on this earth. I just mean he hasn't reached the feminine yet. Now, male or female doesn't matter. Feminine energy just means, keeping your heart open. This is someone who, feminine energy is nurturing. That's why we're the mother. But anyways, I feel like this is talking about someone who just hasn't reached you yet. But boy, it's like, I can feel it. I can feel it. 3 swords. Kind of a bummer that came back out, but here it is. What that may mean for you is, because we know that there are some wishes coming true. And you're the one who's really manifesting these wishes. It is through your intention. And I feel like for some of you, like you're just tired of the things that haven't been working. And, and maybe you were brought down to your knees, but through that energy, I feel like you've really gained a lot of knowledge. And I feel like your spirituality has really grown from that. So that could certainly signify if, let's say, again, 2 people are coming in. 1, we already know. Like, I feel so clear about, like, will it get better? I don't think so. Not with the 10 of Swords here and the 9 of Swords. I feel like, and it's touching this king. So, sorry, king, but I cannot be on your side here. Interesting also that the queen and king are side by side. So this could talk about the current, the one back here that I'm potentially waiting for. But then the 3 swords is like right between them. She's looking over here at the lovers. So she may be feeling, again, that energy. And will I allow it? Will I allow it? I don't know how you could deny it, to be honest. But again, it will be your choice. And the lovers is a number 6. And 6 really does speak about relationships. This just may be the right time. And again, there may just have been some difficult lessons that, you had to go through. And maybe it's like there was no way around it. Like, I had to go through it, but maybe your soul said before it came into his lifetime, like, I am up for this challenge. Even if it takes me a while, I'm up for it. Because I know the ultimate reward will land in the soulmate's energy. All right. Well, I'm not going to leave it on the 3 of Swords either. 8 of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. Very important to know that. What I think about, I bring about. Now, if I'm manifesting from the energy of anxiety, do I not just bring more reasons to be anxious about? Yes, that's the law of attraction. Now, if I've learned, like, I'm just not going to take certain people's shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a low vibration, don't come towards me. I've had enough of that. So now I'm telling the universe, I'm looking for a higher vibrational love. But remember, your energy needs to match that. This is fast moving energy. And by the way, it's landing right above the star. So, how quickly can a dream come true? I feel like as quick as you allow it. As quick as you allow it. Because it is mirroring also. Not mirroring, but the Ten of Swords is up there also. All right. And another 8, by the way. You know, 8 is the number of infinity. As above, so below. No beginning, no end. I could see that with the lovers. I can see that with the soulmates. You know, and I feel like they're really one and the same. And I feel like here I'm feeling it, but here it's like literally coming into my world. Strength card again. Double Leo on the board. Certainly could be mirroring energy too. And I think I said that already, but you know, I'm seeing duplicates, and to me, it does, it does feel like mirroring energy. 7 of Wands, standing your ground, good for you. It's like if this person comes back who's kept you, and I know this is not for everyone, but if you've been in a repeat pattern and they make an appearance again, right when like things are about to get better in your life, stand your ground. You know, someone left a comment where an ex came back and, tried to give her the same old bullshit, and she didn't buy it this time. And I felt so proud of her. She didn't buy it this time. She stood her ground. Hello, 10 of Pentacles. House of Abundance. House of Loyalty. You're not alone in this energy. Certainly can talk about blended families. You know, we're just moving closer and closer and closer to your soulmate energy. Now, I'm not trying to make this just a love reading. So understand, like, if let's say, you have a work condition where it's just a lot of anxiety, but you also have your own dreams. This may be the right time. This could be great energy of working from home, especially with the Ace of Pentacles right there. We have, hello, 3 of Pentacles, your uniqueness and being recognized for that. You know, I feel like in the 3 of Pentacles, like I'm just putting my head down, doing my thing. I'm building up my pentacles. I'm allowing my creative side to come out. And there are rewards for that. Now, as it speaks to love, this is someone who recognizes your soul. This is someone who loves you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. I love you just the way you are. All your quirks, everything. So funny, all of a sudden, like I got this image of like someone's hair sticking up in the background, like bedhead hair. And that may have been someone's word, because I feel like I, as the other soulmate, would look at that and be like, oh, I think that's sexy. I think you look sexy with bedhead hair. Huh, interesting. Knight of Wands. Fast moving energy again, but full of passion, desire. You know, I often feel the Knight of Wands comes in and sweeps us off our feet. Someone may also be admiring you from afar. And when I say from afar, they could be very close. I just mean you may not even know it yet. 8 of Pentacles. If you need confirmation, in what you're doing, or what you want to do in your world, in your career, in your creativity. This is it. It could signify a new job if that's what you want. Again, because I feel like this is about your wishes and then allowing them to come true. Eight of Pentacles to me is like, not being afraid to be the apprentice, knowing that if I put my focus on it, I will become the master teacher. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. This is also a sign that says if you, again, wherever you put your focus is what you're going to grow. Who am I going to feed? The beast or this energy? I'm pointing at soulmates, by the way. New beginning. It's almost like, and some of you, it could be someone that you work with. Again, you may not even know it. And then they may come forward. You may make a statement that I am single. And they're like, oh, she's single. It's my time. It's my time. We have the Nine of Wands, a lot of nines, the Magician. Now, the Nine of Wands. This is the energy I've been talking about all along. To me, the Nine of Wands is someone who really does become a spirit warrior. This is looking back and, this person's busting out of their clothes because their spiritual muscles have grown so much. There's new growth on these wands. It's not about the past. It's about the present. And then we have the King of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have a lot of Leo on the board. But this is the king of action. Let me tell you with this king, why I feel like this king came out. Because this is a king who puts action behind their words. I don't just tell you what you want to hear just to keep you on the hook. No, I mean what I say. I mean what I say, and I show you it. The king of action, male or female. I feel like this is your soulmate. And don't even think about fire. It may be a fire sign, but this is someone I feel like, again, will definitely put action behind their words. I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear just to like keep you on the hook for a couple months and then disappear again. No. Because your spiritual team would not be calling you to the present moment. They would not be saying that there's about to be a rebirth. They wouldn't bring in this Ace of Pentacles unless you were ready for it. And this Ace of Pentacles, man, it's going right into the Ten of Pentacles. This could be a very fast-moving relationship. And for those of you who've been with me for a while, I often say, like, if you feel anxious, take it slow. People will always reveal who they are. We just have to give them the time. But then again, with the Knight of Wands here, I feel like this is energy that's going to move quickly. Maybe you move in together very quickly. It's not impossible. The impossible is only impossible until it becomes possible. Did that make sense? I don't even know. All right, let's look at the bottom of this deck. Hello, Temperance. Divine timing. Temperance says, give your worries over to me and just trust that your ships, your gifts, your rewards will come in divine timing. Your spiritual team is saying the same thing. It's an opportunity to let go of all that worry and stress. And again, put it in divine's hands. Also, card of Sagittarius. Queen of Pentacles underneath that. All right, let's take Mother Mary over the reading, and then we'll get into the comment section. Let's see what Mother Mary's beautiful words of wisdom have to say for you today. Hopefully I'm still alive. I should have checked. All right. I just trust that I am. Mother Mary. Family. I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. Well, all of them are here. Answers, support, healing. It's all here. You know, prayers are answered, but they may be answered differently than what we expect. You know, maybe I want love, but maybe I want this love. But your team's like, no, we don't want you in that anymore. It is your choice. Again, you know, you do have free will, but I feel like if you follow your guidance, you're just going to know. We have Jesus. Jesus. I pray for Jesus's help and guidance with this situation. Beautiful. And devotion. You know, I felt that way back in this Queen of Swords. Like there's certain energy she's only going to accept now. And I don't mean like she's being like rude or closing her heart off or any of that. No, I want to live life according to my terms. I want my dreams to come true, right? I want to live a fulfilled life. Devotion. As I fully commit to my values, relationships, and God, I am clear about what to do next. Guided steps from the highest. Prayers are being answered. They just may look different than what you expect, but 1,000 times better. Wow. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. And then let me pick this part up. Let's not forget we have the Lovers. We have the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Star. Healing. Nine of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. Your spiritual team. I feel like hard times coming to an end. Why can't I pick them up? It's human in here, that's why. Divine timing. Patience and planning. Sometimes I feel stuck. What do? Start putting a plan in place. You know, again, I hate talking about myself, but it reminds me way back when I was married to that King of Cups. And I did stay home with my kids were very young. But I knew, like, after a certain point that this is not where I was going to stay for the rest of my life. But I didn't have the financial ways to leave. And he went out drinking like almost every night. So one night I decided, you know what? I'm just going to get in his pocket. And I know this may not sound right to some, but I felt like it's what I had to do. And I'd get in his pocket, and whatever money he had in his pocket, I would take half. And I hid it in the vacuum cleaner because I knew he would never touch the vacuum cleaner. Till, you know, and I kept doing that until I had enough to move on. So, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. Now, I'm not recommending that, you know, but listen, that money should have gone to his children, not to alcohol. Anyway. Oh, I just picked up the spread. I didn't even mean to do that. Maybe that's what I was meant to do. Okay. Let me go into the comment section. For some reason, I see no comments, but I can see it on my screen. Let me skip this ad. Skip. Okay. Wow. Hello, everyone. V Salsa. Hello, Ria. Hello, Jamie. Hello. It's funny. I'm thinking Jamie can ask about that ring. Sophia. Hello. Lizzie. Hello. Renaissance Psychology. Hello. Carol. Hi. Paula. Hi. And Coastal Creative. Hi. That's what I have so far. Okay. So let's go ahead and start answering some of your questions. I see someone also paid through PayPal, and that is Elizabeth Miller. Interesting, though. I don't see you, Elizabeth. Oh, Lizzie. You go by Lizzie. All right. So I'm going to start at the beginning and work my way down. And because I was going to use the Gilded Tarot, that's what I'm going to start. Or not the Gilded Tarot, the Universal Tarot. So for the salsa. So interesting. Will Alden come back? Slide that over. All right. I missed you all, by the way. I don't think I've been live forever. It feels like it's been forever, but the weather has just been so unbelievably hot and humid, and I don't have air conditioning in my office. But I really, truly have missed being with you live. All right, with the Queen of Pentacles. Look at this, the Queen of Cups. Interesting. We have the Four of Wands. I'm wondering, is he in a relationship? Or is this you hoping that the two of you will end up in a committed relationship? But I feel like there potentially may be somebody else in the picture. So let's clarify. Let's keep going. We have the Three of Wands. So, he could certainly be connected to another. But I do have to say with the Three of Wands, he could be leaving that. I feel like for some reason I'm picking up like new horizons. Like I'm heading towards new horizons. Tell me more. It's like these cards wanted to come out. The Knight of Swords. Ten of Pentacles. And the Ace of Swords. So you know what? I feel like the salsa, yeah, you may hear communication. You certainly may hear communication. This is what I would say, though. First of all, trust your own intuition, of course. But, just finishing up that reading makes me just a little bit worried. I would say it does feel like, yes, they're going to reach out. And I would also say that just make sure that, if they do reach out, you have this conversation, because it definitely looks like a conversation, though it does feel optimistic. But, make sure that they're 100% free. I do feel like it's like, they're on to new horizons. So if they were connected to someone, it does look like they're leaving that. And I also feel like really pay attention to your intuition, because I feel like that's also an important component of this. But yeah, you may hear communication like from your, like while you're home, like in your home, whether that be the telephone. But I feel like you will be at home when it happens. So I would say have a conversation. Um, I feel like that's where it's leaving it, like the conversation, and then moving on from there. But it does look that way. And I do like that it is coming from optimistic energy. Does this mean like I make communication saying that I want to be in a committed relationship with you? Well, that may come up, but that may be your question. But again, like I feel as long as this person is free, then potentially I would be open to it. But I feel like if they're not free, you know what I mean? Like if they're connected to another, you want to know that. You want to know that. But some type of communication is going to come in, whether it be again through your telephone or, um, it's funny. That's how old I am. I was going to say your landline, but I still have a landline, or whether it be like an email, on a social media. I do feel like you're going to hear, and I do feel like a conversation will take place. And I feel like, again, it does feel like it's optimistic. I feel like this is you like handing this Queen of Cups, like I want to hand you my cup. But I feel like it has to start with a conversation. There may just be energy that needs to be cleared between the two of you. If this, let's say, does have the opportunity to move forward. But again, I would also ask yourself, you know, or at least make sure that they're not connected to someone else. And if they were, that they're leaving that they have left that. I do feel like someone is, again, moving away from a connection. And I don't feel like that's you. It's almost like you're looking at like potentially the connection that they were in. So, it feels like a yes. Okay. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I will be right back. I gotta change my shirt. Don't mind. I have my pajama bottoms on. Okay. Just wanted to put a little lotion on. And I'm just gonna clip up my hair. I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting. It's just so hot. Where'd my clip go? All right. Jamie. You have a lab exam one next Wednesday. I have a new studying using probably a new way of studying using Quizlet. How will I do? It's worth 109 points. I am hoping this looks good for me. All right, let's see. So you have an exam coming up next Wednesday. I'm going to use a Gilded Tarot. No, I'm not. What's wrong with me today? I'm using the Tarot Dreams. So, for Jamie and her exam, I haven't heard of Quizlet. But then again, I've been out of school forever. Well, that didn't take long. All right, let's do what's face up first. So first we have, if I can pick it up, the High Priestess, your intuition. Next, hello, Ace of Cups. It almost feels like you're acing it. And then look at this, the Palace of Cups. It almost feels like you're going to get a whole 109 points. But let's see what comes underneath it. The Knight of Wands. For some reason, I'm getting this feeling of, I almost feel like don't try to cram too much in at one time. You know, maybe I can't absorb as much information if I do that. You know, I'm not feeling it negative, like in a negative way. I just feel like it's a piece of advice, but I feel like I do feel like I feel like you're gonna ace it. See what comes below the Tower. You may not feel that. The Nine of Wands. I feel like that's the effort you've been putting in. The Chariot, beautiful. And then the Knight of Cups. So your answer is yes all day long. But again, it's like if you put in that effort, which I know that you are, I definitely feel like, yeah, you're going to ace it. You know, like I'm trying to think like how, I want to say like an A, but that reminds me of like high school. But I do feel like not only are you going to ace it, but it feels like natural to me. Like whatever you're learning feels very like, it feels kind of like meant to be, Jamie. You know, like I feel like, let's just say when you graduate, or this is, when you're moving into, well, it feels like a lift of a vibration. I feel like you just believe in yourself. Don't try to cram too much in at one time. I feel like, yeah, when you sit down to take that exam, I don't know if you sit down when it's the lab, but, I feel like you're going to absorb this knowledge. This knowledge is going to stay with you, what you're learning. And then I love that the Chariot is next to that because, again, it represents unlimited potential. You have such beautiful energy here, except for the Tower. But I feel like the Tower, listen, this could simply represent that a previous tower in your life may have put you on this path. And this just feels like the right path for you. Like, not only do I feel like you're going to do very well, let's just put it that way, with the exam, I feel like, and then moving forward, you will continue to do well. As long as you put your effort in, I feel like it's all going to pay off. And I feel like you were guided to this. And to me, that means like, I feel like this is what you're meant to do. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do it, but it just, like, I feel like you feel it in your heart. So yeah, I definitely feel like you're going to ace it. And, you know, there literally it says ace. So that feels like very good news. Okay. I don't know why I didn't bring all my decks out. This was like something that, you know, I wasn't even sure if I was going to go live because of the weather. But then I thought, what the heck, let's give it a try. All right. Sophia. Sophia. Why can't I ever just call you Sophia? Like, I always want to sing your name. Sophia. All right. Sophia. You're going through separation, but would like insights into your connection with your crush, who's a Capricorn. We haven't expressed feelings, but very strong connection. Sophia, I don't know if I'm trying to remember. I feel like you work with this person, but I'm just going to kind of leave that out of it. I'm going to look just down. Do you work with this person, Sophia? I'm going to give you a second to answer if you want. And while I wait, I am going to I want to bring out a couple new decks. Not new decks, but a couple different decks. By the way, I just started working with another company who creates tarot cards, and they are sending me their newest cards, which I should have within a couple days. I cannot wait to use them. They are beautiful. So we'll be adding them into the family. All right. But anyways, Sophia. Whoops, I just knocked myself out of the comments again. Hang on, I knocked myself out of the comments. All right, Sophia, there you are. Okay. He's your martial arts teacher, but also friendly within the community. V Salsa, yes, he is with someone else. Okay. Thank you for that confirmation, by the way. All right, Sophia. Going through separation, but you like insight into your connection with your crush, who's a Capricorn. We haven't expressed feelings, but you feel a very strong connection. All right, I'm going to use the light seer, Sophia. Let's give him a cut. I have a feeling, I could be wrong, but I feel like in the last reading we did for you, I could be wrong, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I may have said to you, don't be afraid of like reaching out, without going into like full terms of like, I have a crush on you, but being maybe more flirty. I don't know. That's coming to my mind, but let's go ahead and ask the question. We have the King of Pentacles, Well, to me, that's like the business owner. I definitely feel like that would be him. Judgment. No wonder you feel a special connection to him. Um, would I be right in saying, I'm not really asking the question, but you can certainly answer. I feel like he's mellow, like he's um, calming, probably calming to your soul. We have the Eight of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. So we have the Queen of Pentacles mirroring the King of Pentacles. You know, I feel like there's so much likeness about the two of you. And it's interesting because I almost feel like, if the answer was no, I'm not going to say, or maybe one of the reasons why, like, you really haven't gone deeper, let's say, is because you may fear rejection, or you may fear of, like, if, like I said, I have a crush on you, and he said, oh, that's nice, but then nothing else. I have a feeling you would leave that class. But now listen, I feel like that's just what you're thinking. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, especially with Judgment here, right? It talks about a rebirth. 8 talks about a new beginning. Hello, Knight of Pentacles. And then the King of Swords. I have a feeling for something is making me feel like he may look a lot like this King of Swords. The King of Swords to me is someone who you can literally see it, but I feel like it's someone who's like climbed their mountaintop. He may be very, very good at what he does, a very good teacher, and he may be very far along on his, I guess, belts, with my limited knowledge. Like, I feel like a master, like he could be a master. I kind of love that the Knight of Pentacles is here, though, coming under Judgment. So I do feel like you mirror each other's energy. I do feel like you're very much alike. Now, that doesn't mean like we're exactly alike. I don't know if you're connected. I don't know why I don't remember this. If you are, oh, well, you just said you're going through a separation. That's what this is talking about. That's what this is talking about. And listen, it may be once you are free, there could be a real opportunity here. I definitely feel like that Eight of Cups is you. And it's talking about your separation. And I really feel like this separation, and you did say that, right? Just let me double check. Yep, you did. I don't feel like you're going to be carrying much baggage from the past. Like, I feel like you're ready to let that go. Knight of Pentacles is, to me, a guardian angel's energy. And this Knight talks about the right timing. So I feel like part of this is saying the right time could be when you are done completely with the past. And then that may be the time. So I feel like this has potential, definitely has potential. And I do feel like you're probably soulmates. I'm saying probably, but I do feel like you're soulmates. Now, I also want to remind you that just because someone's their soulmate doesn't necessarily mean that, we're going to be together. Because we have all these, life can sometimes get in the way. But the Knight of Pentacles is signifying the right time. And Judgment talks about a rebirth. And that's exactly what you're going through right now, Sophia. A rebirth, right? You're letting go of what was, and you're heading towards what will be. I also feel like this is saying, live in the present moment, like enjoy everything right now. And I feel like I almost like you don't really have to worry too much about this, because I feel like if it's meant to be, it's going to be. That tells me that they must look at you in a similar way. But listen, maybe this separation was a big element here. I feel like there's the potential of, let's just say, the two of you coming together. I don't want to say a relationship yet, because again, the Knight of Pentacles is like, slow down, Sandy, right? The right time is the right time. But I feel like it has very good potential. This separation you're going through, I feel like you're meant to. I feel like that was done. It's over. And I feel like the more I live in that energy, like, and I'm not judging anyone. And I mean, you're not judging anyone. You just know in your heart what is over is over. But I feel like that was part of, I don't want to say stagnant energy, because I don't feel that, because I feel like you enjoy your classes. Like, I feel like you enjoy each other's energy, but it may talk about moving to the next level. So, I feel like when you feel, let's put it this way, the person in the Eight of Cups, which I know is you going through this separation right now, they're heading to the Nine of Cups, inner harmony. And, that could be also an important component to this. But with your spiritual team here and like-minded energy, and by the way, they're looking at each other. The king is looking over at the queen. And again, doesn't matter your sign, looking at each other. And I feel like this is representing his energy, because I feel like he is a master. Like, he has mastered certain things in his life, but I also feel like how he teaches, and I also feel like this is like I like him. And I mean me, like, I like his energy. And I like his energy for you. But your spiritual team and your guardian angel are all involved in this. So I feel like the one component was the ending of that relationship, the old relationship. I feel like this has a very good potential. And I like his energy. And what I mean by that is my spirit guides, just like that King of Cups that was in the reading for Libra, I could feel like very quickly that this king, not so good. Here, I'm feeling different. I'm feeling like harmony. I like it, Sophia. I almost feel like the Knight of Pentacles is saying, don't, where I was saying, maybe potentially letting, well, I think what you should do is just be flirty. but be flirty without being, really, I just feel like be your natural self. I should just take that back because I feel like your natural self is enough. It really is enough because I feel like he does recognize you, um, probably on that type of level, like likes you for you. So that feels good. And I feel the day will come when the two of you will express emotions. All right, Lizzie. Hi, Sandy. I sent a donation on PayPal. Got it. My question is, will I ever see or come back together with Mike? He's a Cancer. I'm a Virgo. Thank you. Any insight is helpful. Trying to think, it wasn't that long ago I did Cancer's reading, and it was a beautiful reading. I remember that. But Virgo's reading, I also felt like was quite beautiful. And I'm not talking about like, me. Anyway, so my question is, will you ever see or reconcile with Mike, who is a Cancer, and you're a Virgo? Okay, and let me go ahead and slide that over. So Lizzie, I think I'm going to use the Psychic Tarot, but let's give it a couple shuffles. One of my best friends growing up, that's her name, is Lizzie. She's in Florida now, and I'm in PA, but we still keep in contact. All right, let's give him a cut. I feel like that card wants to come out. I'm going to take it. Okay, the waiting game. Probably what you're doing right now. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think you're doing anything else with your life, but that does seem to be a component of it. Cards are like sticking from the humidity. It's a lot of cards, but we're going to take them. We have the obstacles and challenges. Choose wisely. Temptation. That is the devil. But they can also talk about illusionary energy. Patience. Divine timing. Under the waiting game. New beginnings. Under obstacles and challenges. Hope, which is a star. Under choose wisely. Memories of love. And then the Seven of Swords. Why the Seven of Swords? I feel like there was a period when you were connected where, I don't know, I'm not going to say cheating, but I do feel like, he may not have been like completely honest with you. But listen, sometimes I feel like that energy comes from like a limited mindset, like I'd rather tell someone what they want to hear because I don't want to fight type of thing. And that may be the case. Lizzie, I feel like I just want to say, I want you to look at, like, let's just assume that the two of you came together. And then picture what you feel life would look like after that. Do you feel like it would be loving? Because I feel like we have a real mixed bag here. I feel like there are good memories, but I also feel like there are some that are not so good. And I also want to say with temptation here, you know, again, just making sure that what it is you want, because sometimes we think that we want someone in our lives, but then they come into our lives and we end up right back in the same place. And I'm saying that because you have the Fool here. Well, I'm saying that because I feel it. But the Fool's here, which does talk about new beginnings. So good. Again, there can be potential of this coming back around, let's say. And I feel like what your guides want you to ask yourself is to picture yourself in the future. Like, because I feel like your intuition will let you know, like, what will really look like. Really, will it really be everything that I want in love? Now, if the answer is yes, the answer is yes. But I do feel like with the devil's energy here, which again is temptation, which to me really speaks about illusions, right? I need to break through, I need to break free from those illusions and just be really truthful and honest with myself. I want to just take a card over temperance and new beginnings, and we get the Nine of Pentacles. You know, boy, Lizzie, I wish I could just tell you yes, and everything will be fine. But I feel like with the Nine of Pentacles here, because we're really asking more about love than anything. So I want to read the Nine of Pentacles in that way. And to me, that talks about like feeling independent within yourself. Because I feel like when you feel independent within yourself, then your choices or what it is you want to manifest, you're very clear about. Right now, I do feel like there's some type of like veil that is, in between the two of you. But is it to protect you? So I literally just want to ask, and I'm just going to take a card. Victory and success. It is a 6, which again can stand for relationships. Let me put it this way. There may be potential of, yes, you may hear again, and this could be saying that you need to like really feel independent within yourself, to really give yourself an opportunity of a new beginning. So you may, it may like have an opportunity. I don't know, Lizzie, I'm not feeling 100% great about this because I feel like with temperance here and a new beginning right beside her, and then the star. And yes, that is about your dreams, right? And your wishes and what you want to manifest in your life. But in the same breath, this top line is difficult. This bottom line is all in the light. So I feel like it just is saying, be very like, break it down, break it down. If you feel because I feel like there may be an opportunity here. But that doesn't always mean it's good. So break it down for yourself. You know, do you feel like trapped where you can't move on? Because I feel like, again, this is about a wish coming true, divine timing, but then a new beginning. So it certainly could be with him. However, I again feel like there's some illusionary energy around this that is, especially with the Seven of Swords over here and the Devil, that I kind of feel is, I just feel like it'd be hard energy to get over. You know, it's definitely showing the obstacles that you've gone through. And it is showing that you do have memories of, you know, cherished, well, I don't know if I want to say cherished memories, but you have good memories, let's just say. But I also see that it wasn't always easy either. So I feel like your guides just want you to break it down because I feel like there is a veil, and that veil kind of, it feels like it's keeping you apart. But I feel like it's keeping you apart on purpose. You know, maybe this person has their own life lessons that they have to learn. Maybe they themselves have to mature as it relates to like their emotional, how they are like in an emotional situation. You know, this is saying that you have a dream coming true. And if it's love, then it will come true. But it doesn't necessarily have to be with this person. But if I keep all my effort there, then I could potentially block also. You know, it reminds me again of the reading where there is someone of the past, but there is also someone of the future. Which one do I want? That's why I feel like you just want to break it down. Don't wait. Keep on being you. Keep open to what the universe wants to present to you. You get to decide, you know, you get to decide, but there may be someone else on your path who is, I just want to say better. I don't know if that's the right word. Let's just say of a higher vibration, because I do feel like right now, this person is not in the highest of vibrations. And I don't know if that changes. You know, it's interesting because, of course, I want to tell you all what you want to hear, but I don't feel like I'm serving you if I do that. So I feel like that's why it's really asking you to break it down. Like, just think about it and picture yourself. Like, if this came back together, do you really feel in your heart of hearts that this is something that would last a lifetime? Or do you feel like more obstacles and challenges will just come again? I feel like right now, this person, again, is in a lower type vibration. And at this moment, I don't feel like it's the right time because I don't feel like it would serve you. But yet, I feel like Temperance is saying there just might be someone else on your path. Just consider it. That's all. Just consider that. Okay. You know, I love you guys so much that it's hard for me to give like readings that are difficult to hear. But in the same time, I feel like sometimes it's what sets you free. And by setting you free, it opens the door to, you know, just like the reading said, to a soulmate that I hadn't even considered. I didn't even know was on my path. All right, my dear. Okay. Renaissance. My friends let me down behind my back. Can you pull some cards on the situation? I'm sorry about that. So your friends let you down behind your back. All right, I'm going to use the Luminous Tarot. Three of Cups, Ace of Swords. It's almost like they're talking about you. And you know what's interesting is Three of Cups, it really is your friends. And then the Ace of Swords, I feel like they were talking behind your back. And then you get the Strength card. So I feel like this is nothing you can't overcome. I feel like the disappointment is really the energy. The Eight of Wands. The Hermit. You know, I feel like this is you trusting your intuition and what you're feeling. Just how you feel like, you know, your friends let you down behind your back. And to me, that's the big word here, behind your back. You know, not to your face, behind your back. Eight of Cups. I don't know if you work with them, but this is what I feel like. I feel like, number one, I know you feel let down, and that sucks, right? Especially from friends. But do I feel like it would happen again? I kind of do. And I feel like what this is saying is, don't allow yourself to get pulled down into that energy. You know what I mean? I don't know if your friends like carry a lot of drama, you know, if they're drama filled or if they get off on drama type of energy, but don't allow yourself to, you know, don't think less of yourself. You know, to me, this is like just keeping my head down, doing my thing, being successful. And, you know, it's almost like whatever friends are real friends will stay, and whatever friends are foe will leave. But I want to take a couple more. There is that drama I was talking about. So we just got the Five of Wands, and that is drama. But it's coming under the Strength card. So I feel like try as hard as you can not to allow it to affect you. You have two eights here. Could be two friends that you have three eights. Interesting. You may be making a new set of friends. And then you have the Magician. You know, I feel like, and this is not to put anybody down, but I feel like if I was to like look at your group of friends, I feel like you're the powerful one. There may be some envy. And envy can come across in so many different ways, but there could certainly be some envy. And I do feel like they're talking about you behind your back. I do feel like it is definitely showing the drama. And I felt that right from the beginning. There was a lot of drama, like drama filled. where some people get off on drama. I don't feel like you do. And I feel like you shouldn't. Like, don't even get pulled into it. Just do your thing. Keep your head down, because I feel like, again, there may be some of these friends who are just going to fade away. And I feel like let them, because I feel like you'll be led, you'll be led to, let's just say, real friends. Now, I don't feel like all of them. There could be like a leader, the lead drama queen, and everybody else follows suit. But you're the one that really has the power here. I feel like you will overcome this. And I feel like, yes, your intuition, if you've been feeling like they're talking behind your back, you're right. Like, this is your intuition trusting that. The high priestess, well, there you go. Your intuition. And then the 8 of cups. So I do feel like there is at least one friend who, listen, you may decide, like, this is it, this friendship is over. And I would, if you question which one, who, the one that carries the most drama. But don't get pulled into it. I feel like that's the main thing. Don't get pulled into it. Continue to do your thing, because I feel like whatever it is you do, whatever this is talking about, I feel like you do it well. Trust your intuition. And then you have the magician, the manifester. And sitting next to a card of drama, I'm either going to manifest more drama or I'm going to eclipse it out. And that is your choice, right? That's the free will choice that even I can't override. Not even I. I sound like I'm all this power, but I mean divine. So you're definitely picking up you're picking the energy up correctly. And I do feel like some of that stems from like envy. So be it. I feel like if you start to notice that certain friends are fading away, allow it. Because you may be moving towards new friends who are really like soulmate type of energy. I know you feel hurt. I can feel that. It's not showing it, but I feel it. But I also feel like I got to be careful not to allow their energy, to interrupt my ability to really make my life better and better and better. I feel you're a very spiritual being. Doesn't mean like I'm always in a spiritual type energy, but I feel like you do trust your guides. I feel like you do trust the signs, and I feel like you do trust your intuition. And I feel like all of that's going to serve you. But I do feel like there's going to be at least one friend, let's just say, that I just have a feeling you're going to no longer call them a friend. Now, I wouldn't fight. I would kind of ignore it. I'd just be like, so be it. That's the way you feel. That's the way you feel. But yeah, you are picking it up correctly. And someone else's drama maybe pulling a couple of those friends in where maybe it's not their natural energy, but it does feel like the leader of the pack. Like the leader of the pack and those who follow that leader. Well, that leader of the pack may not be, of high vibrational energy, because I feel like it's more drama filled than anything. So, okay, I'm sorry that you're going through that. But sometimes people are eclipsed out of our lives for a real purpose. And sometimes it's difficult. But yet down the road, this is the type of energy where I feel like down the road, I look back and I'd be like, thank God, because now my life feels much calmer. Now my energy feels much calmer. But I feel in the same breath, like, just continue doing you and allow those who I kind of feel like divine is kind of pushing out of your life. The more you allow that, I feel like, because I feel like you may meet some new friends who are not drama filled. And again, I don't want to put it on every one of them, because again, I feel that leader of the pack. I hope that helped. Hi, Paula. I see your donation and I thank you. By the way, I thank all of you for your donations. But I'm trying to see, Paula, if you have a question. Oh, you're very welcome, Lizzie. Renaissance, I don't know, I can't say it. You're also very welcome. Yep, playful. Sophia, I'm just reading your comment. By the way, Sophia, when I say, like this separation you're going through, and how part of that was, I don't know if you're still here, but you may watch on replay. I kind of feel like you're still here though. I feel like chances are the energy is going to move it pretty quickly for you then. Okay. So, Paula, I will continue to see if you have a question, but I'm going to keep moving. Coastal Creative, hello. Not great at intuition awareness, any guidance, feelings of caution, but attraction. Conflict between wanting feel creative / fun, romance again versus safety and staying put, stuck, solo. Um, I want to say before I even bring any cards out, this is for Coastal Creative, but really for anyone. When you're not sure whether, like, I'm not sure if my intuition is like, is that my intuition talking? It's your spirit guides. I would tell you to ask for, if you feel like a sign was given, ask for any, but you're not sure, ask for it again. And our spirit guides have a funny way of working, because if there's, like, let's say a red flag, something that is not good for you, they will send that red flag. And let's say we ignore it, right? We just like, not sure, so I'm just going to ignore it. Well, they'll send that red flag again, but it'll be bigger. Like, and then if you ignore it again, they'll send it again. But this time, I feel like a third time is the charm. They'll make it so big that it'll be undeniable. So that's the one thing I would say is don't be afraid of like saying, like speak to your guides. I speak to my guides all the time. I speak to God all the time. I mean, I just literally talk. If something's not going right, I'll say, God, why is this going on? Or, but I always talk to my guides and God. Um, so, anyways, conflict between wanting, feeling creative slash fun slash romance again versus safety or staying put. It's almost like the difference of the Eight of Swords and the Fool. So let's go ahead and take a couple cards on that. And I think I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot. Look at that. Again, oh no, it feels like there's a card in here, but that just might be the humidity. Yeah. All right, let's give him a couple good shuffles. I want you to think of the Fool's energy, Coastal Creative, because the Fool is willing to take a leap of faith. But remember one thing, like let's say you do take a leap of faith and then something doesn't feel right. We can always change course. Sometimes we feel like, and I know what it feels like to feel stuck. I've been there a few times in my life. But the one thing I have learned now, being much older, is that we're never truly stuck. We're only stuck if we tell ourselves we're stuck. But I feel like what you really are saying is, whether I can just let myself be free to experience, or there must be a little bit of fear of not wanting to repeat, anything of a negative nature. So anyways, let's just see. We have the Knight of Wands. With the card just sticking to me. We have the Wheel. That's your destiny, my dear. We have the Page of Pentacles. I can tell you right now what this is saying. You've been through some situations that, let's just say they were soul lessons. And I don't feel like they were probably easy, but they were to learn from. Where we get confused sometimes is it's like, because we dealt with difficult energy and we're like, why the hell? Like, what the hell? Why did I have to go through that? Well, because there's something that your soul wanted to learn. And again, I want to remind everyone, like, again, we're spiritual beings having human experiences. Our souls came down here to learn. Like, this is our classroom, Earth. So I definitely feel like the things that you've been through, this was to teach you something, to help you evolve. Nothing more, nothing less. Interesting, I'm seeing that peacock. And I'm thinking to myself, what would the peacock represent? Well, hello, Ace of Cups. So that means this Ace of Cups also sits on your wheel. That's love. And it's interesting, what opens up your reading is the Knight of Wands. And again, that Knight of Wands can be very fast-moving energy, but it is filled with, I was going to say drama, not drama. It's filled with passion and desire, and it's matching that Ace of Cups or mirroring that Ace of Cups. I have a feeling that you've been in some love relationships where they probably weren't the easiest. but I want you, well, I hate to say I want you to, but I feel like if I can look at it through a spiritual lens, then I can see really what I've been doing is learning. So, don't allow yourself to, feeling stuck is an illusionary energy. It's an energy that our brain, our thoughts can tell us. But again, it's illusionary. We have the Page of Wands, my little risk taker. So, should you, I swear there feels like there's a card that does not belong. Nope. Should you stay in stagnant energy? I feel like your answer is no. When you're unsure of what to do, that's when you really want to just trust in divine timing. As long as you, I do feel like this is saying, like, be willing to take some chances, take some leaps of faith, especially in love, because literally this talks about unconditional love. And I feel like, it's almost like you have a life past 6, where a lot of times a life past 6 is really learning about love and relationships. But so is a 2. So are master numbers. You don't have to have a life past 6. But I feel like that's part of like what your soul wanted to learn, was about love. And maybe you needed to feel all forms of it before you could really appreciate what may be the love of your life. All right, let's turn these around. Look at this. This is the marriage card. It's under your wheel. This is a commitment card. And with the Ace of Cups here, wow. But I feel like it is saying that if you don't take chances, then you may be stuck in like this learning energy. It's almost like you can't move forward until you pass the test. But you have everything available to you to pass that test. Or another way of saying it is, instead of thinking that you're stuck, tell yourself, okay, I've been learning, right? Which means that you're probably getting prepared for love. And to me, the Four of Wands is the highest form of love. 6 of Cups. So, also, I feel like don't judge when you look back. Don't judge yourself. Because I feel like if I look back, I could look back in my life and I could think about the many things that went wrong. Or I could think about the many things that went right. I feel like stay open. Stay your loving self. Don't allow the past to close down your heart. Sometimes we think, damn, well, that didn't work out. I'm not going to have love. But we're so wrong. I know that from my own life. Let's take one more, though. 2 of Swords. I feel like that's where you're at right now. Now, it's not the 8 of Swords. So it's not really a self-created prison. It just means that there's a blindfold on. There just may be something you don't want to face or you're not facing. And that could just literally mean that, again, maybe I'm looking at everything that's gone wrong. And I feel like this message is saying, but how about looking at everything that's gone right? And not just love, like in your life. This is the potential of blocking an opportunity, coming under the Ace of Cups. And I feel like, I get this feeling like your inner child has taken some hits, but I also feel like your soul knew that. Your soul knew it wasn't going to be easy. And I feel like the souls that come here, and, because I feel like before we come into this lifetime, we do have somewhat of a say so, right? I can be like, yeah, I want an easy life, and everything just to flow. But then when things like the Ace of Cups, right? The wheel, this beautiful commitment, asking you to take chances, taking risk, right? Because you can always change course. Um, then you start to understand, okay, my soul really wanted to learn these experiences so that when this enters my life, well, all is good. So again, it's not the Eight of Swords. You're not in a self-created prison. You just have a little fear. I feel like you can rip that blindfold off because I feel like your guide just saying you do need to take chances, right? Be like, the Page of Wands to me is like the Fool. This is someone who does take chances, but has fallen, but gets back up again, and may fall again, but gets back up again, right? But every time I fall, I'm learning something. And that's how I want to look at my falls. Not like, man, I'm terrible, or like, look at, like, my life sucks. No, these falls probably taught you something, and they're all part of your destiny. So I feel like that's what you've really been learning. And I feel like when you say to yourself, man, look how much I've really grown. And yes, I may have been connected to some people who were difficult, didn't love me in the way I deserve to be loved. But know that you deserve to be loved. Know that about yourself. And I feel like the rest will just follow. I don't feel like you came down here to have it like easy. You came here to learn. And that makes me proud of you because I feel like you have that opportunity. And I feel like you know, I feel like this little reading right here can move mountains for you. You just have to believe that. Don't shut yourself down. Be willing to take chances. Understand, the times that you have fallen, you have gotten back up again. It has taught you something, or it is teaching you something. The more you can keep your mind set in a positive energy, I feel like the more you're going to have reasons to be positive. In other words, don't let the past destroy what can be your present moving forward. Okay, I'm going to let that be. I can't even pick up the cards. Hi, Steve. Thank you, thank you, Jamie. I was going to call you Jasmine again. um, I just want to, I'm going to click out real quick and click right back in. Just want to make sure I'm getting all the comments. Come on, Ed. Oh, now I only see one comment. What the hell? So Paula, I still don't see a question from you. And you're very welcome, Lizzie. Hi, Nicole. Sophia, exactly. Just be playful, be yourself. And I think you're already admired. You know what I mean? I feel like it's already there. But all right, guys, since there's no more questions, I think I'm going to go because honestly, it's so hot in here. Oh, well, Sundry just came in, so I'm going to go ahead and do your reading. And then I think I'm going to go because I am melting. All right, so really from your spirit guides for Sundry. I'm going to use the, ooh, see how the cards are just like, Four of Cups. I don't know if you're discontent in your life right now, Sundry. But the Four of Cups really talks about using your spiritual discernment, relating to anything new that's coming into your life. I didn't keep the card, but I definitely felt like I was meant to talk about it for a second. All right. By the way, guys, if you see this video like twice, it's because I'm gonna upload it as a regular video so that I can add it to my playlist for July. Because this was your July reading for Libra. Strength card. So say it takes great strength to be soft. Wow. It takes great strength to be soft. That's true. With me being a Virgo, I know that's true. But there's that Four of Cups. So it wanted to be read. Try not to be so picky, okay? That's what it says. Now, again, the Four of Cups can talk about, there may be an area in your life where you are feeling discontentment. But I have to tell you, in the Four of Cups, usually you can see that there's a cup coming in, and it's kind of a lesson about learning how to use your own spiritual discernment. Is this cup going to be good for me? It's a cup of fulfillment. Here it's a cup of coffee. And I don't know, there may be a coffee house that may be in your future. We have the King of Cups. Okay, we're going to take what's face up. Good luck charm. Slide those over. The Magician. Your power. Your ability to manifest. Look at this star. And then the Fool. Okay, so it feels like there's a new chapter opening up for you. And it doesn't have to mean all parts of your life. It could just be one part of your life where, first of all, I feel like there's a couple fulfillment coming your way. And you do want to trust your spiritual discernment. I feel like it's a good thing. But again, you want to trust yourself with this. Wow, my screen just went really dark. How do I love that we have the star here? The star, by the way, is she's looking at a star, right? She's making a wish, but really she's looking up at the Four of Cups. So I may be wishing for this cup of fulfillment, and then the Fool. And then I get it, right? And the Fool is saying, and then be willing to take a leap of faith in it. The magician is right on the other side. You know, the magician is the fool's first mentor along this new journey. So something is opening up for you. It does feel like something you've wished for. And it does feel like you are going to have to take a leap of faith. But at the same time, again, the magician teaches the fool you have everything you need to be successful on this journey. You already possess it. It's not about, it's the wisdom of the past. I'm not dragging the past with me. I'm not dragging the hurt with me. I'm just dragging, I shouldn't even say dragging, I'm just learning from it. I'm learning from it. So I feel like you have a wish coming true, you know, and use your spiritual discernment when it comes in. It's interesting because could be something to do with this King of Cups, but I'm seeing this little birdie on the windowsill, and it's like a little bird is whispering in your ear or whispering in their ear. I feel like now I gotta just go right in between that. Another King of Pentacles, and then the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like if you have a question I can't talk. If you have a question about whether you could be successful in, let's just say, any areas of your life, especially with what I feel like is coming in, the Eight of Pentacles is a sign that says if you're willing to focus on it, then you will have success. It will grow and grow and grow. But first, I have to be willing to take that leap of faith. You know, this could certainly signify someone is coming into your life, but it could also signify, and that may be one, but I also feel like there may also be something that's wrapped around your money where you may start to see like a harvest. Now, it could be from your own work, but I also feel like there's a little luck involved here. You know, I don't know that I ever say this, but I almost feel like go play a scratch ticket. Like go get a scratch ticket. I feel like you're entering into a lucky period in your life. And you know, I'm not going to guarantee you that scratch ticket's going to pay off, but something is telling me that. Um and in particular, I'm getting a scratch ticket, not like the Powerball. Feels like a scratch ticket. I don't know. Um, and maybe you should put $10 on it. Like buy a $10 scratch ticket. I also feel like what is happening, like what's entering again, because the fall is about a new beginning. I feel like we're looking into July, into August. But I feel like you're entering into what feels like a lucky period, but also a period of time where I feel like this is about really trusting you, trusting your intuition. Like if your intuition like guides you to something, you're like, why the hell would I even do that? Just trust it. Just follow it. Because I have a feeling it's a wish coming true. But I also feel like go buy that scratch ticket. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm also going to buy a scratch ticket. And I feel like $10. That's so weird because um, I was watching, I think it was HGTV. It was like Lottery Dream Home, I think. And a lady she bought a $20 scratch ticket, but she won $5 million. And I called my daughter and I said, because she works at what's called a Cumberland Farms, which is in New England. It's not really, I don't know if it's down south or out west, but I told her, I said, you know, I feel like every payday, like when you get paid, you should buy one ticket because I just have a feeling she's going to win some money. I'm feeling that for you also. Now, if you don't win money, I apologize. Um, but something is just telling me that. So I feel like, and who knows, maybe that's what opens up the next chapter. But I feel like you are moving into not just luck as it relates to money, but just a period of time where, maybe energy is really lifting. Saturn has gone into retrograde, and I definitely feel that energy. But when Saturn goes into retrograde, and this is my opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but this is just what I feel I'm being told. When Saturn goes into retrograde, it's kind of like letting you loose, seeing what you're going to do with this freedom. And then when it goes direct, it's like, okay, now it's quiz time. What did you do with that time? Did you develop anything? Did you start anything new? Did you follow a dream? So I'm saying that during your reading because I have a feeling it has something to do with you also. But I feel like, there's going to be a decision you're going to make. And this decision, you want to base it on your spiritual discernment. And if you're uncertain, again, like just keep asking your guides. We want to keep remembering that our guides are here to guide us. And if we miss their messages, that's why I feel like I do tarot, to help with those who've missed messages. Just have them resend it. But this feels like a good time, maybe after not such a great time. So just be open. I feel like just be open. And, I feel like you possess really what the magician teaches the fool. I feel like you already possess the wisdom to be able to handle what's ever new. And again, I feel like whatever new is good. It's not like you have to handle it. You just have to make that decision. Do I say yay or nay? But I'm going to leave it there. And if you do decide to go buy that ticket, please let me know under any video on a comment. Just let me know if you win anything. And I'm going to go buy one too, and I'll let you know. All right, guys. I'm going to let it be there. I'm literally so hot. I don't think I can do any more. So I just want to thank you all. I really missed you guys so much. And I am going to, hopefully it's going to be cooler tomorrow. So I'll probably be back on tomorrow where, there won't be a reading like, a signs reading. But other than that, have a great weekend. Trust in your guides. Know that you're being guided. Know that you're loved beyond measure. And, just live in the fool's energy and watch what opens up. All right, guys. Thank you. Sandra, you're very welcome. Nicole, you're very welcome. It truly is my pleasure. And I thank you guys for just being part of my channel, part of my soul family. Without you, what would I do? I mean, I do readings at home and I do personal readings, but this is what I love. Like, I really love connecting one-on-one with you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you. Lizzie, you're very welcome. Was that Lizzie? Lisa. I'll see you next time at our table, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. And I don't know, Sanju, I have a feeling Go buy a scratch ticket. I pray that I'm right. I pray that I'm right. And I'm sorry if I'm wrong. All right, guys. Love you. Bye bye.